Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Crack the Egg podcast. I'm Adriana,
And I'm Jess.
and today this is episode 12. We're going to be recapping a market that Jess did this past weekend. But before we get into all of that, Jess, what are you currently crocheting?
Believe it or not, it is July still, and I am starting winter accessories because honestly, my next show, people will be there to buy Christmas gifts, or like accessories for themselves for the winter time. So I'm gonna have a couple of things prepared for that. And then before you know it, like the Christmas and colder markets will be here and I need stuff. So I'm working on a hat at the moment. What about
Yeah,
you?
that time is like creeping up so quickly. I'm totally not ready for it. Like I have a list of things that I need to start working on to prep for the fall, and I'm just like, well, I don't even have everything ready. Like that's just normal stock, let alone thinking about the seasons changing, but it's gonna be here before we know it. As far as what I'm working on, so I am currently working on an octopus for the mystery boxes. So this pattern along with two other patterns, they were all from Jade. Um I took them up last month before I went on my travels to kind of launch the mystery boxes up at the Hive at the store where I'm selling my stuff. And so I am now in the process of then prepping the mystery boxes for my next market that's in about a month from now. So yeah.
Are they doing at the Hive?
Really well. I think so far I've sold over a third of what I've brought in a little bit less than a month, like 3 weeks. So that's not too bad, I think. They've definitely been doing better than I think most of the other stuff that I've sold. Like turtles are still selling, loaf cats are still selling, but the mystery boxes are definitely selling, outpacing everything else, which is really exciting. So I didn't know how it was gonna go or how they would be received. So I'm not going to restock the mystery boxes the next time I go up just because I started with 27. I think I have 16 now. So it doesn't feel like I need to restock quite yet. And also, I have decided that, and we talked about this a little bit in our last episode in the State of the Union, that I'm going to do themes for each of the three market seasons that I sell in. And so this first
Yeah.
theme was all aquatic creatures. And so the fall theme, I'm not 100% sure yet of what I'm going to do, but that will probably be, I'll probably restock that in, I'm guessing, August.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot you were going to do it seasonally. So that makes
Yeah.
sense not to restock it yet.
Yeah. So, it was exciting though to see like, and especially like while I was abroad, like watching them sell and even just watching like other things sell too. The only thing I think I haven't sold out of my booth in the last month would be a lovey. Um, so just I don't know. I don't know if it's like the specific animals I have up there, or if that's just not something that's doing well. So I'm currently contemplating pulling them all together and allotting that space for other smaller plushies that are selling a lot more. Like I've thought about I have the loaf cats and they do well for me. What about like loaf dogs, but not getting into the loaf dogs that are like all these specific breeds, just picking like one generic looking loaf dog and kind of running with that and just doing some like different colors. And then possibly also looking at some other maybe slightly bigger plushies that I have that aren't currently up there. Like I have the succulent and cactus patterns that I think might do pretty well up there. Um and so right now, like there's literally no more space in my booth unless I get rid of the loveys. And so I'm going back and forth on it. I haven't made a decision, but I think I can count there. I've definitely sold fewer than one hand's worth of loveys in the, oh gosh, 3 months since the store's been opened. And so like when they sell, it's great because it's a decent chunk of money, but there I feel like I could be using that space to sell things that are actually going to move on me a lot faster. So,
That's a good thing.
yeah. I still have to toy around with it a little bit more, but I think come August I'm going to make a decision one way or the other because like markets for the most part I don't have a problem selling levies. On almost every market I have, I usually sell at least one, sometimes more. Um, but at the store it's just not happening. And I don't think it's because of the way that they're displayed either. Like I think it's probably just the a price point thing. So,
Mm. I mean, taking them down would give you inventory for your in-person markets too,
yeah.
which is a good thing. Um,
Yeah, that's another consideration too.
would you consider maybe leaving one and maybe a sign with like a QR code or something that says would you be willing to take customs from that?
I don't know that I want to open myself up to custom orders anymore. Just based on like where I'm at right now with things and like Um, I really have found like I really dread making the things when they're requested for a custom order. So I think if I took them out, I would take them out. I don't want to say permanently, like maybe at Christmas time I put them back up, kind of thing.
Oh,
But like that's a lot of space that I could be using for other plushies that I think are likely to move a little bit better. And I also am not gonna, I mean, I don't even know that there would be any openings for this right now, but I'm also not gonna ask for more booth space either because then that puts me in the position of, okay, well, I have to make more now. And I like the size of my booth. I think I've been really creative, so I've been able to really maximize the space that I've been given on the pegboard, and then also too, I don't really want to pay more in rent um just to have more space. I think what I have is plenty.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think you're good with the space you have for now.
Yeah, maybe someday, but as of right now, I'm happy with it. And um yeah, so TBD on the levy thing, but I'll probably end up making a decision on that before my August 16th market because last year that market, I'm assuming the weather holds out and everything else, last year that market was absolutely insane. That was my top market of all time. So I think like it's going to be really important for me to show up with as much inventory as possible for this show. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Um, so you texted me the other day and told me that you have new and exciting news that you would only share in the podcast. So tell us, what is this new and exciting news? I have a guess, but I'm not 100% sure.
I feel like your guess would be correct because I did post about it today. Um, I decided to apply to be a tester for a pattern and I got accepted and I already made it already. So
Holy cow, when did she send the pattern out?
yesterday.
Oh my gosh, Jess, you're amazing. That's awesome.
Well, it was okay. So I kind of applied to be a tester selfishly because I wanted the pattern ASAP so I
Of
could start
course.
making it for shows.
Of course. No, I think that's totally fair.
It's Crochet by Jane. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my post. I had her OG pattern of the silly hand, and here's the guy. He's huge.
Oh,
Yeah. And then so she came out with a small version of it. So that is the pattern that I tested. And it was right here.
that's
And this is
cute.
the comparison.
Oh my goodness. So that wasn't the first pattern you've ever tested, right?
Um, not technically. I did get accepted to be a tester for like what is it called? Like a duster vest, like a really long. I never finished it because that's just not my wheelhouse.
Mm,
Um, and then our friend Nicole, how we met, I tested her her ears.
got it.
Yeah. But I don't usually apply to test things, but I really wanted this immediately for shows. Um, I don't know when the pattern comes out. Okay, did I already say it's from Crochet by Jane? It's the small silly hand pattern by Crochet by Jane. Um, I know everything has to be done by July 29th, I think.
Holy cow, you blew that out of the water.
I wasn't the first one. Oh,
No way.
I guess who else was a pattern tester?
Who?
Leah, Leah from Cozy Crafts.
Oh, that's great.
She was the first one done.
Yeah, that sounds about right. She's able to crank things out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. We love Leah.
Yeah. I saw her name and I was like, oh my God, it's Leah.
What was the experience like as far as testing goes? Like, is that something like you think you want to open yourself up to again, or this was just really just a special circumstance?
I think it depends on what it is.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I'm not against ever doing it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just wanted this pattern really bad.
Fair.
Um, and for me, like I could be useful because I always say that errors, like spelling and grammatical errors, are like flashing at me. So I feel
Hmm.
like I can help designers in that sense. Um, I did find a couple mistakes uh that she fixed right away. She's really receptive and responsive to suggestions. So, but yeah.
That's awesome. Are you gonna make more?
Oh yeah. I had the big guys at this show that we're going to talk about today.
Hmm.
They got a lot of attention.
That's great.
I have two of them and they got some attention. Um, but I like so on my post about it today, I said like I appreciate these designers that make a really good pattern and then make it in a smaller version because it like for the Ink of the Octopus, for example, and the whale, um, Hugo the humpback, the it's nice to have the big one that's like an attraction, and then the smaller one is kind of more reasonable.
Yeah, sure.
The smaller ones are also um making the pattern. The smaller ones are like a I don't know if relief is the right word, but you know what I mean. Like after making the big one and then you make the little one and you're like, oh, I could make more of the little one.
Yeah, it makes it seem like the pattern's like not such a
Yeah.
beast, I guess, and it feels a lot more, I think it feels a lot more fun
Yeah.
to go back and make it in the smaller version when you've had the experience of making the big beast.
Yeah. And I have additional news
Hmm.
since we last recorded. I was asked to teach a beginner amigurumi class.
Yes.
Yes, that's upcoming. That's next weekend already.
So what's the pattern you're going to be teaching?
I'm going to do Katie Did's Bubblebee. It's a free pattern on her Instagram. I just
And
felt like since it's a free pattern, it's okay.
yeah. Are they going to have like are they bringing their own materials?
Mary, the owner of Sneak and Skein, asked me what was needed. Um, and they're providing the yarn shop is providing the yarn and hooks. And I offered to bring the polyfill because I'm swimming in it and the
Sure.
safety eyes because I think that we're going to be doing it in an acrylic yarn. We're not going to do it in the big stuff. especially because it's a beginner class.
Sure.
So I have a lot of smaller eyes that I don't use anymore. So I said I'll just bring what I have.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's great. You'll have
Yeah.
to update us when we have the next episode with how it went and if you would teach again.
I will. I'm really nervous because I'm not good at explaining things. And
I
there's four people so far in the class. So I'm like, people actually signed up.
Who knows? Maybe they'll have some experience already, hopefully with amigurumi that maybe it won't be so challenging.
I did say it's a beginner class, but knowledge of the single crochet stitch is helpful.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So you've been away for 3 weeks. Do you want to just give a general recap of where you've been, what you've done?
Sure. So the first trip that I was on, I was in Germany for 2 weeks. I try to go every single summer since I've started teaching, and I've been successful with that. The 3 summers ago in 2022, I took my niece to, we actually went to Europe in general. We were in Great Britain, France, Germany, and I feel like I'm missing one other country maybe. I took her for a graduation present, so we were gone for 3 weeks, but we spent I think 2 of the weeks in Germany, since that's what I know the best and where I'm the most comfortable. And then for the last 2 summers, I took students in an exchange program. And then this summer, I did not want to travel with students again. I needed a break from it. And so my dad and I went and we did this adult exchange program that's through the same organization that I've chaperoned students with. So the student trip typically happens every year in both directions. The Germans usually come in the fall, and the Americans usually go in the summer. And then we also have an adult exchange that happens, but this is a little bit more infrequently. It's every 4 years. And so my dad and I kind of been planning to go on this trip for at least the last year, if not a little bit longer. And so the first week of the trip was dedicated just for the adult exchange. So we did all these different programs. We were based in a small town outside of Stuttgart, so in southern Germany, and we did like tours of different places. Every single day, like there was something different that we did with the group, and then we also got to do stuff with the family that hosted us on the weekend that we were with them over that week, and then the following week, my dad and I we went and did kind of our own thing, and so we went up to the city where I did my exchange year. When my dad visited me during my exchange year, we spent some time in the city, but he said he always wanted to go back, and so we did that. And I got to see one of my best friends while we were there. And then we went up to Berlin, and then we went back down to Munich so that we could go to the famous castle Schloss Neuschwanstein. It's like if you've ever imagined like a specific castle in Germany, it's probably this one. And we went to that, and then we went back to our host family for a couple days to spend a little bit more time with them, do a couple other things in Stuttgart that we didn't have time for before we left. And then I came home. I was home. We got home pretty late. It was like 1 a.m., close to 1 a.m. on the 11th. And then that was my one full day at home. And then on the 12th, I left to go down to Florida to visit one of my friends who moved down there in December. And I was there until the 16th. Florida was also really nice. I went for the first time to visit her in February, and I had never been to the state prior to that. And I always thought it was like just one of those places that's like super overrated, that like it's not actually as nice as people say that it is because they have, gators running around and I don't know, other weird bugs and animals that like we don't have up here in the north, and that I just assumed it wasn't that nice, but I really do love it there, at least the part of Florida where she is. She's along the Gulf Coast. And um so this time we got to do some things I didn't get to do the first time when I went down. And so one of the things was her and her husband are part of this boat club, and they took me out the one day on a boat. It was super, super nice. And then we went to this inlet that recently opened up, and in the inlet, the water's like absolutely crystal clear. Like you can look down and like it doesn't get super deep anywhere. Like you can walk across most of the inlet and not, at least for me being 5'7", not have the water go up like much above my neck. And it was so, so hot, but it was so nice being in that water. It was like it wasn't freezing cold. It was, I wouldn't say it was bath water, but it was pretty warm, which was super like refreshing. And just like it's also this inlet's not like super commercialized or anything. And you can only get to it by boat. So it was really, really, really nice. And then we also went to Siesta Key, which is the number one beach in the US. It's got like this white quartz sand, so it's like walking, it's like the softest sand ever, and it also doesn't get hot. And that beach was really nice too. Now the water wasn't as clear as it normally is because it's their rainy season and there were some storms the night before. But you could walk out for like 200 yards and the water, it's still so clear or so nice. And also it's just so flat. Like it doesn't get really deep until I'm guessing you walk out probably close to 3 football fields. So it was just really, really nice. I love being at the beach, so getting to do that was really, really nice. I wouldn't mind going to the beach one more time this summer, but that's probably not going to happen just due to lack of time. Um, but yeah, that was my 3 weeks. So, um, yeah.
Did your luggage come yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So, part of the reason we didn't get back until 1 a.m. from the airport when my dad and I were coming back from Germany is because, British Airways lost my carry-on luggage. And I was forced to check this carry-on luggage, as was my dad, when we were leaving Stuttgart Airport because, quote unquote, the flight was full. Both flights were full because we had to have a layover in London. They were full, however, the problem was they made too many people check their hand luggage. So the problem was what I came to find out later, I didn't know it at the time, but the problem was that lots of the luggage ended up getting delayed in London because they had too many people check their hand luggage, which was so dumb. And you could tell too because like our flight from London to DC, there was plenty of room in the overhead bins. I was able to shove my book bag up there, so I can have a little more feet room. Like there was so much room, and it was again because they made too many people do it. So my dad's check or both pieces of my dad's checked luggage came out just fine. I got my carry-on or my checked suitcase on time, which had most of my stuff, but the problem was I packed my carry-on assuming I wouldn't have to check it, so it had a lot of gifts in it and like either that I had received or that I had given. And not only that, but with there being such a short turnaround between when I was getting home from Germany and when I was flying to Florida, I really needed that suitcase to go with me. And unfortunately, that did not happen. And I think there was, I think, at least a 2 or 3 day period in which they did not have any idea where that suitcase was. And it really made me kick myself because I have an air tag in my check luggage. And I always check that to know whether or not it's, landed when I've landed. But I do not have an air tag in my carry-on suitcase. Mostly because I assume I'm not going to have to check it. But now I learned that lesson. I will have that in the future. Because it was really scary not knowing whether or not they were going to find the luggage. And so it was left in London. I think they shipped it over, I think the 12th or the 13th, and then from DC they shipped it to me via FedEx. And what was really sketchy about that was like they didn't put it in a box. They just stuck a label on it. Yeah, they just shipped my suitcase like that. I'm like, oh, so anyone and their brother could have looked through my suitcase if they wanted to and taken what they wanted. Like, so it was just such a horrible experience and it totally was preventable. They did not need to check that suitcase to begin with. And so, do not recommend that going through British Airways if you can avoid it. Um, like it was awful. And like my luggage wasn't the only one. I think when we were at the airport in DC, I think there were at least 25 people waiting at the counter who didn't receive part of their luggage. And like some people were really unlucky because some people didn't receive their checked luggage, which was the luggage that had the stuff that really mattered as far as like clothes and things like that, and just such a mess. And so I think the luggage arrived I think Tuesday. And I wasn't home yet. I wasn't due to come home from Florida until the next day, and so I had Alex like do like a quick look through and everything was there, at least what I can remember. Like the stuff that mattered to me that I knew was in there. If something else went missing or whatever, I don't know it. The one thing that does suck is I in Marburg there is this artist who does different pieces showing different motifs or whatever of the city. And I got something from him again. I have a few pieces from him, and the frame that is in broke. And so I haven't yet I haven't yet looked at whether or not I'm gonna try to get that reimbursed or not because um, number one, Alex thinks he might be able to fix it with some hot glue, and so if he can fix it, I'm just gonna let it go. But if he can't, then I am gonna see what I can do. But I have a feeling the problem is going to be that someone's going to put me in a loop where it could be British Airways say, well, you can't prove it was us, go after FedEx. And then FedEx is going to say, well, you can't prove it was us, go after British Airways. Because I've been in that situation before with a lost package that was shipped from Germany. And so I don't know if I'm actually going to get anything for it. And if it were a normal frame, I wouldn't really care. But the problem is, the picture, the European, or at least I won't speak for all of Europe, but I imagine it's similar. Like in Germany, their standard picture sizes or whatever, they're not the same as ours. So you're talking about getting a different frame, and I've gone down this path before, and they can get quite expensive even from shopping on a place like Amazon or whatever. So TBD on that, but I at least have the stuff. I have what matters. They got it to me. They didn't get it to me when I wanted it, but at least I have it. And I learned my lesson. I have on my Christmas wish list that I want an air tag, another one, so I can put that in my carry-on. And yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it really sucked. I left the airport so unbelievably angry because I just felt like the whole situation didn't even need to happen in the first place. And it was their own fault. They made too many people check their carry-on luggage and it caused a delay, and I just can't. So and it's also just hard too, because it's like all you want to do the minute that you land after a long trip like that is all you want to do is get home, and we couldn't even do that because we were holed up for an hour at the airport. I started since last year using the mobile passport app to get through customs a little bit quicker. And so like my dad and I we did that, so we were able to get through the custom line super quick, but all of that was really for nothing because by the time we left, the airport or the customs line was more than cleared out. So it didn't buy us any extra time or whatever because we were stuck standing around. And because the flight was absolutely huge, I mean, I think there was at least over 250 passengers with how big the jet was. Like by the time had to finish waiting for all the luggage to spit out and then have to fight everyone else who was waiting at the desk who had also lost their luggage. It took forever. So terrible, terrible experience, but it all worked out, I guess. I learned my lesson and yeah. It's
At
fine.
least the trip was good.
Yeah, the trip itself was nice. I mean, it's always really good for me to go back to Germany and I always like learn something new and um it's just like my second home and the town that we stayed in for the first week outside of Stuttgart, that if the city where I did my exchange year is my second home, then this town would be my third because I've spent so much time there over the last this summer and the previous two. And so I'm just really grateful for like the relationships that I've built with people over there and yeah, that I have had the opportunity to go back. Alex and I have already talked, like it's going to be a little bit harder for me probably to go back next year because of the wedding being in next December, but I'm optimistic I can find a way to make it work. I just think it's really important for me, like obviously like international travel is wonderful and it's nice to do that, but like for me, it helps me keep my German at a higher level. Because I feel like during the school year, my German always gets a little bit worse because I'm not like truly exercising that muscle in the way that I would like to because I'm surrounded by kids all day that don't speak it natively and make lots of mistakes. And then because I'm constantly hearing that input, then I sometimes start making similar mistakes like that. And so it's nice for me to have that time to kind of refresh and be able to kind of remind myself why I love German so much. I don't know that it helps remind me why I love teaching it so much, but it at least helps remind me that I love like the language and the culture and that's such a big part of my life. So, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So, we wanted to introduce a new segment here on Crack the Egg, because we just felt like, as rich as our discussions get when we're doing like market debriefs, for example, or talking about other topics, we felt like something was missing, and so we wanted to start a segment called Question of the Day that's pretty open-ended. Sometimes it'll relate to markets, sometimes it'll relate to the actual act of crocheting and just our experiences in general with both of those things. And so today we're going to do our first ever question of the day. Jess, I'll have you answer first. So, our question is very simply, what was the first item you ever sold at a market?
Okay, so I looked this up before we started recording, and I can't tell you the first item that was sold, but I remember the show was 2019, and my most sold item was what I called a bonfire beanie. And I got that name from Taylor Lynn Crochet, um, who was my first introduction to the knitting machine. So it was a knitting machine beanie that she called the bonfire beanie. And for that show, I remember going hard at those. I had so many bonfire beanies and the twisted headbands. Um, so it was, I'm going to say it was the bonfire beanie, which I don't make anymore because they don't fit my head. The knitting machines, even though if you have the larger one, like it's so tight and I don't
Interesting.
like the way they fit on me.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's cool.
What was your first item sold at a
Mine was also a hat. Mine was the baby bear hats. I technically haven't taken them out of my lineup, but I haven't set up with them at a market once this year. I have them. I don't necessarily love making them, and so that's the thing that I am struggling with, but they do tend to do well for me when I have them. But I can remember the lady, she was saying to, I think, I don't know if they were her sisters or some girlfriends or whatever, but she was saying to them that she was really, really hoping she was gonna get, I don't know if it was a grandchild or a great grandchild. I want to say great grandchild soon. And so she ended up buying like the baby bear hat and she was gonna put it in like a hope chest kind of thing in the hopes that this would happen. And so that was in 2023 at my first ever show. And so I would love to know if she did get that great grandchild that got to wear it. But I can't remember the exact color, but I know it was a newborn size because that was the only size that I had at that show. And so yeah, it's a baby bear hat.
Do you still do this show?
No. No. It was a church show.
Mm,
And I knew I didn't do super, super well at it. I mean, I I know I made over $100. But I knew after that show that that was not going to be something that I was going to go back to, and especially once I started getting into bigger shows towards the end of the year, I was like, yeah, no, definitely not. So, yeah.
so I was gonna say maybe if you continued to do that show, you would have seen her again.
True. True, but yeah, I don't think so on that.
Oh well.
So, you had a show this past weekend, and as usual, I know absolutely nothing about how it went, so I'm really excited to hear about it from you. I know that this is a show that you've done before, and so I'm excited for you to kind of give us the debrief. And I thought you did do this show before.
No.
I swore you did.
Nope.
Have you done a show in Hummelstown before?
Yes.
Okay, then maybe that was the issue.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, in any case, so tell us when and where was this market?
Okay, so first of all, I don't have a whole lot to say about this show, but I feel like you might be surprised with what I have to say about it.
Okay.
So it was Saturday, July 12th, downtown Hummelstown. It was called the Hummelstown Criterium and Street Fair. Now, what's a criterium, you might ask? I had no idea.
I also don't know.
I still don't know, but I think it's something to do with bike racing, like bicycle street bike racing. Um, I think it's like unlike the Tour de France, that's like a long distance. These are more short sprints, kind of. Um, I had no idea going into it. What it was. Had no expectations, just was like, whatever I have is what I'm gonna bring. And I had no feelings going into this show. I was like, oh, it's just another day.
Um,
But it was really cool. It like when I could get away and see the bike part of it, I was like, it was really exciting. The bike part of this day was awesome.
so was the craft show and the bike part, were they happening simultaneously?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Um, so what was the duration of the market?
Uh 9 to 4, 8 to 4, 9 to 4, or 8 to 4.
Okay. And I'm assuming you were outdoor.
Yep.
And were you guys like in a specific area of Hummelstown, like on a specific street, or is it kind of all spread out?
It was on the main street. Um, the craft fair part of it was took up like a block, and then the bike race was on Main Street, but then also went down a whole bunch of side roads. Like it was an 8 turn track. So they made 8 turns during one lap.
Interesting. All
And I
right.
don't know how many laps they do, but they do
Sure.
several.
And what was the ultimate size of your booth?
It was 10 by 10, so could have gone over. So it was our canopy, and then there was 5 feet between each fender. So it was like us, and then we had 5 feet on each side.
Well, that's nice to hear that you guys weren't like stuck on top of each other.
Yeah,
That's
it was
nice.
nice.
So who organized this event? Was it like an individual vendor or was it like a larger organizer?
Um, I don't know. Who I think whoever organized the bike race. That's I don't know that answer actually.
No worries. But in any case, it wasn't like it was like an event organizer specifically, like who does craft shows entirely.
No.
Got it. Um, so you hadn't previously vended at this show, but we did talk about the fact that you vended at in Hummelstown before. When
Mhm.
you were in Hummelstown previously, was it in the same area that you were in, or was it somewhere else?
Yeah, it was the same area. We were like where we're usually put for the craft fair was where the bike race was. But where we were for this show was also part of the regular craft fair.
Gotcha.
The craft fair takes up like the entirety of Main Street.
Oh wow. How many vendors were there, would you say?
This weekend they said 30.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's over number.
Oh, really?
That's just a guess. I don't think I saw 30, but
Did you see any other crocheters?
nope.
Oh, okay. What other types of vendors did you see that you can remember?
There was our neighbors on either side was a dog treat maker who we'll talk about that in another question that comes up later. And
Okay.
then on the other side was I actually don't know. It was like a bee. I think they make I think they make products with bee like honey and stuff, like soaps and there was something with bees with them.
Okay.
And then like Tastefully Simple was there. Um there was a lot of like wood cutting places. I didn't walk around that much actually. I think there was a wreath maker. There wasn't really a whole lot.
Interesting. Okay. So I think you answered this earlier, but did you prep any special items?
Nothing special, but I did. So usually how I prepare for a show, like I'm making products for the next show. This one because I didn't really care. It was just a it was just something to fill my July. I was able to like pre-prepare for my forthcoming shows. Um which seemed to have had a better effect on me mentally. Um, and in that process, I was making other, like I made Hugo the Humpback, which turned out humongous, and like the Silly Hands. Yeah, so no, I didn't prepare anything specific, but I was able to prepare for other shows, but bring those products with me.
Gotcha. So you mentioned just now the silly hands and then the Hugo whale. Did you have any other new patterns or items in your booth?
No, I think I can safely say that this time.
Gotcha.
Last time I kept saying no, and then like, nope, there's another thing. This time I
Um,
think I'm safe.
so getting into some other like smaller logistics, how was the weather and the location?
Location was fine. It was great where we were. There was kind of an alleyway, so we unloaded the car and we could park right in the alleyway. And so like loading back up to go home at the end of the day was easy. Um, the weather, I had been nervous for the days leading up to it because the weather app had storms like every single day. It's like great. Saturday's gonna be stormy and yucky. And it ended up being nice. It was really hot. Um, in the morning as we were setting up, it was kind of cloudy and I felt some precipitation, but it didn't like rain or anything. And then the sun came out and we needed our fan and ice packs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was hot.
What was the crowd situation like in terms of what types of people did you see throughout the day?
A lot of bikers, and that's it.
Okay.
There was not really a crowd.
Oh no.
This was not advertised very well, in my opinion.
Ah, okay. Well, and that might explain why there were not a ton of makers there either. Um, I mean, sometimes I think that sometimes that's definitely intentional, but then other times, I don't know.
That part, I'm not blaming the lack of advertising. Um, as we were tearing down at the end of the day, one of the volunteers we were talking, and she said the organizers of the Hummelstown Craft Fair, which will be in September, are not happy with the organizers of this event for offering a craft fair option. So they wanted these guys, like the OGs, wanted these guys to limit. They were only allowed a certain amount of space, could only have so many people. That was a little shady. I'm questioning why they cared.
That's interesting. Unless they thought like people would be all craft faired out, but like that's a 2 month gap. I don't think that's close enough
No.
to really matter, honestly, but all right.
Yeah.
What was the layout of your booth?
Typical outdoor layout, an L shape with my tables. And in front of the end of my one table that faces out, I had a grid wall with, oh my God, thanks to Avian. um, she showed me a photo of her new display of the anchors. They're on hat displays. So you sit the base of it on the hat display part and the tentacles hang down. So I had all three of my babies and all three big guys displayed and I loved that. Um and then on the other side I had my standing shelves with pocket shawls, fingerless gloves and cup or coffee cozies and then um another grid wall with loveys and the silly hands.
Okay. Um, so getting into numbers now, what did you bring in terms of inventory?
4,570.
Okay. Did you have an inventory goal or were you just kind of like, that's good enough?
That was good enough. I literally didn't care. Like
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's a negative thing either. It was just a show that I knew nothing about. I had no expectations. I just went into it thinking it's an opportunity.
I think that's more than fair.
I
Um,
wish I could go into every show like that. I'd be less stressed.
Honestly, for real. How much was your booth fee?
I think it was 50.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 50. And then because I did it online, there was like an extra fee involved, but
Oh, geez. All right.
whatever.
Um, so how much did you end up selling or what was your total sales?
445,
Okay.
which I think is pretty good for having zero expectations and there literally being nobody there. I was like, okay, we'll take it.
Where do you think you got your sales from? Was it from other vendors or from mostly the bikers
Uh,
or some other group of people I didn't mention?
there was a good amount of vendor sales. Um, from all like there was a food truck row. Like it was crafters and then food trucks and then like the bike stuff. Had a couple food truck vendors. I had a family. I don't know what they were. They were there for a while though. They bought some stuff. A lot of people who came by said they had no idea this was happening. This back to my advertising thing. Like before the show, we were given an email like this is the map. Come like enter this way. So I'm not totally familiar with downtown Hummelstown, like street names, forget it. So I took a drive one day and I just wanted to like get a sense of where I needed to be. And I was looking for advertising. I found maybe one yard sign and it was like, it was not very visible. I said, this is it. This is really the only physical advertising I've seen on Facebook where I found this event to start with. They were posting all the time. So like this is gonna be great. But then in town, there was nothing. So nobody knew what it was. Residents were saying they had no idea that they couldn't leave their house. um, a couple people were like, we just saw the road was closed and there was stuff set up. So we parked the car and just decided to come see what it was.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know what
Mhm.
happened there.
Yeah. Did you have any bestsellers?
Um, Probably the Lafufus.
No way.
I only had five of them, but I sold three.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that was it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you have any unexpected performances as far as things that sold less or more than what you had anticipated?
The my pocket shawls got a lot of attention. They normally do, but not no one bit.
Hmm,
You know,
sad.
it could have been that it was really hot.
That's fair. It's probably harder to imagine either wanting to try that, even wanting to try it on, or harder to imagine actually having to wear
Yeah.
it when it's that warm.
Yeah.
Did you have any interesting interactions, whether it be with customers or other vendors?
So the vendor neighbor who was the dog treat maker, remember that show you did with me? That really crappy show? They were there.
Oh,
We
no
were talking,
way.
we were discussing like organizers we won't work with anymore and stuff like that. And I mentioned this one show that was a dud that the main part of it was canceled and they decided not to tell the vendors. And they're like, wait a minute, when was this? Where was this? We were, and Michelle mentioned something about a tattoo business being next to us. And they're like, we were right across from the tattoo guys. And I said, I was right next to them. So it's funny. They had the same experience.
That was painful.
That was really bad.
Oh my gosh. Anything else?
No, I said there's not really much to say about this show.
All
Uh,
right.
like the
Um,
bike, honestly, the bike race was so cool. Like I kept every time I went to the bathroom or like we went to get lunch. Um, the first time I saw it, I again didn't know what to expect. I was standing on the sidewalk on the edge, like waiting for them to come around the corner, and the lead car comes around and he's flying down this tiny little street, and I'm like, holy crap! And that like he had to fly because the bikers were speed.
right.
They were going so fast, but it was really cool to see. Like USA Cycling was involved.
Oh wow.
I don't know if these were like qualification races to get into other things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was a big deal. It was really cool.
Overall, is there anything that you said or that you think went well or could have gone better?
No, for what it was fine. Like the volunteers who were directing us to where we needed to be, like it was a smooth operation. Um, so I didn't really have any issues with any of that.
What is your likelihood to participate in this market again?
I don't know. Probably not. I probably won't. I did think about that. I don't have anything against it, but it was just meh. Was
It
it
does,
worth my time?
yeah, and it does sound like it was kind of a long day
Yeah.
for to
I
only
would go to
do that.
watch the bike race. Like I would be there 100% just for the because it was not just one race. It was like a men's race, a women's race, a kids race, like and broken down like men's 65 plus, men's
Mm-hmm.
35 to 55, like a whole bunch of races. So I would go to like watch a whole day of bike races, but I don't know about the crash up part of it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I'm wondering if the lack of advertising had something to do with the organizers of the arts and crafts festival having an issue with it.
I can understand having a problem with the craft fair part, whatever. I mean, maybe. Even that's kind of a stretch, but I can't understand though how you could then go and control what another event does as far as the advertising goes. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe the organizers just felt like social media is enough. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the perfect mix is for advertising these days because like when I think about like the Wandering Maker, for example, they will put up yard signs and stuff like that in the areas where they set up their markets, and they do a lot with social media, but like beyond that, I don't know what else they do to garner attention. Or like I think of the stay markets that they do every month in Hershey, and I know Neil does a lot with social media and like there are signs and stuff that go out, but beyond that, like I don't know how you educate people that these events exist, because sometimes I think it doesn't matter how much you put it out there. There are people that just for whatever reason don't know unless I think they're in that circle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like nobody knew about this.
Yeah, and I honestly don't understand that because I knew it existed because I had gotten like I had seen like sponsored posts about it on Facebook from them, and I didn't follow anything relating to the event or anything. Like it wasn't like I went.
Like because you and me are friends.
Maybe, yeah, it could be
I don't
interesting.
know. I I'm not saying no because of the organizers. It was just a do I really need to fill an empty month?
I get that. And honestly, I think the answer is no in my mind, but um yeah, I don't know.
I think I was just trying to make up for last year being so sucky.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really going as planned.
That's fair. What
Like
is
maybe this
your,
will be the show.
yeah, I can get that. What do you think, or not what do you think? What is coming up next now for you?
A big one. It's Lidditz.
And
It's
that is
huge.
when?
August 9th.
Oh wow, that's coming up fast.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. There's like 600 vendors and like tens of thousands of people that come.
I can't even fathom that.
It's huge. This one, Michelle and I never even leave our tent.
I'm sure you can't.
Like we step out to try because we always go to see what's around, like who's here. And I make it no more than like the next tent over before I turn around and come back. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
That'll be really exciting though, especially with everything that happened with it last year being rained out and stuff. So
Yeah.
that'll be good.
I did just get my vendor information for it yesterday, which is really exciting. I'm in my same spot, which I love my spot. And they put the renewal form on for the next year. They increased the price pretty good. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't know if it's because it got canceled last year or if, or I don't know. I have no idea, but
Interesting.
it was a good little increase.
That's something we'll definitely have to talk about in the next episode once you, or at least in that market debrief episode, to kind of see where you go from here. But good to know.
Yeah. It's not a it's not a discouraging factor for me.
Sure.
Um because like I love this show. So I'll I'll still do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
It was just a shock. I saw it and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think anything like that would make me probably like stop and go, a little bit, regardless of how much like I might
That
love.
happened at sci-fi too, actually. I forget what year it was, but the next year, like they gave out like sign up for next year, and they increased the price by like $100.
Oh,
And it was like, whoa, do we really want to do this?
yeah, that's considerable. Good Lord.
Yeah. For not for not more. Like it's the same amount, like the same table space.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Which they might be changing locations going forward. Because remember my debrief about sci-fi in June?
Yeah.
It was too much for the convention center to hold. So like we might be looking at other venues.
That's wild. It's a
I mean,
convention
it's
center.
great, but it's a small convention center. But
Oh,
um, like I wonder if they would change towns.
could they do Baltimore Convention Center maybe? That place is absolutely huge.
Well, going from Altoona to Baltimore, I wonder like
Oh, I was talking Hagerstown, but
oh
now
no,
I know what you
it's
mean.
Altoona. Yeah,
They should run out the Bryce Jordan Center at Penn State.
that has been suggested.
Oh, really?
I've heard people talk about going to Happy Valley.
Yeah, because they would definitely have the space. Now, how you would organize that, I can imagine would be very difficult, but
The October show is still, as far as I know, at this convention center. Uh,
gotcha.
Next year, though, if as long as they have big names again,
Yeah,
uh, I don't know where it will be. But that's just
interesting.
information I received recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When's
Well,
your next show?
the 16th of August. So
Okay.
still have some time, which is good because I need it. And then September, I don't think I have anything. And then October is probably when things are gonna get hairy for sure. But it's okay. It'll be good.
Yes,
So I think that's everything for this episode, right?
I think so. I do have another note, but I don't know if I want to say it.
Oh, well,
Should we save it for the next one or should I talk about it?
that's up to you. Just keep in mind this episode doesn't come out until mid-August, so if we save it for the next one, it'll be the end of August when when it gets shared with the world.
No, I'm gonna save it because it's a questionable thing. So
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for this episode. Please be sure to rate and follow our podcast wherever you're listening to us from. And be sure to also follow our business accounts on Instagram and Facebook. Jess is at Craic Creations, Craic spelled like this podcast, Craic. And I am Yellow of the Egg Designs, and we'll see you next time.
bye.
Bye.